Yeah, so tonight we'll be talking about the foreign exchange risk management. It's a topic that's encompasses quite a number of things, but tonight we're going to look at some basics that you need to know before you can attend question or you can attend question. Now, foreign exchange risk management, or let me start with foreign exchange. Foreign exchange refers to the global marketplace, yes, where national currencies are traded against each other. Yes, that is the foreign exchange. It is the system that allows businesses, investors, and governments to convert one currency into another for international trade, investments, or travels. Yes, quite a number of us might have been engaged in the issue of foreign exchange. Maybe you've been privileged to travel out to transact with people beyond the shores of Nigeria. And at one point in time, there is a need for you to, to change Naira to dollar, to change Naira to pounds in diverse ways. And you will have experienced, have a practical feeling of how this happens. So, for example, let's look at a situation, still on the introductory part anyway. A Nigeria importer buying goods from the US. See yourself as an importer now, trying to buy goods from the US. There are certain things you must do. Your home currency is Naira, but you're trying to get goods in another country whose currency is in dollars. Yes, let's assume that. So what will you do to be able to get that goods? So it means you must convert Naira into what? US dollar to pay for the goods you want to get from US. So the point is this: the rate at which one currency is exchanged for another, the rate at which you exchange Naira for dollar, Naira for pounds, is termed as the exchange rate. It's termed as the exchange rate. Now, why risk in foreign exchange? Why risk? The issue of risk sets in because the markets will not be constant. The foreign exchange rate will not be constant. There will be fluctuations in the foreign exchange. The fluctuation can be to your favor or to your disadvantage. So because exchange rate constantly fluctuates due to demand and supply, inflation, interest rates, political stability, issue of speculation, bureau de change activities. So businesses and investors face currency risk because today the value of Naira to dollar can be 1.5. Tomorrow, the value of Naira to dollar can increase to 1.6. It means Naira is depreciating while dollar is appreciating over Naira. So, talking about the foreign exchange risk, the currency risk is the potential financial loss that arises due to adverse movements in exchange rates, and it mainly affects businesses and investors involved in cross-border transactions. Those are deals in international trade. So there are various forms of risk. But before we come there, let me see what I have in my slide. That globalization has served to increase the amount of foreign trade, which has in turn increased the amount of foreign currency transactions that companies have. So any dealing in foreign currency present the problem of risk of changes in exchange rate. So the adoption in most Europe of the single currency is the euro. Yes, in the Europe, they adopt euro as a unified currency, and that has helped them to remove the problem of companies trading within Europe. But before trading with companies in other countries, an important rule of the financial manager is to look for ways of removing or reducing this risk. So this class is focused on looking at different ways available for the removal or reduction of the risk of changes in exchange rates. So an importer now, the way you view the risk varies. Yes, the way we view risks varies. To you as an exporter, to you as an importer, there are various advantages that you might see. For now, those in Nigeria who often get money in dollars, they are happy because dollar, naira is equivalent to naira, equivalent to dollar rather, is at the level that is not okay. Naira has greatly depreciated compared to dollars. So if you are in Nigeria and you are earning in dollar, you'll be very much happy because our currency is nothing to write home about when you put it side by side with dollar, with pounds, and the rest of it. So, importer perspective, looking at you as an importer, if the foreign currency appreciates against the home currency, the foreign currency appreciates against the home currency, the importer will pay more. Like you pay more naira for the same dollar amount. So if you are trying to bring in goods into Nigeria and you want to pay in dollar, you want to pay in pounds, because the value of our currency is not worth much. It means when you convert naira, trying to convert naira to dollar, you'll be converting more of naira to pay for dollar. To pay for dollar. So if dollar depreciates, the importer will pay less. That is, if naira gains more advantage over dollar, when you are trying to bring in more goods, it means you'll be paying less naira. Yes, because dollar has depreciated in relation to naira. So to the exporter now, the exporter perspective, an exporter will receive payments in foreign currency. That is, you are selling goods to other countries. When they're trying to pay you, they pay you in their own currency. So what will you now do is to convert that value you received in foreign currency to your own domestic currency. So if the foreign currency depreciates before payment, the exporter receive less naira. Yes, that is, if dollar now depreciates and naira gains advantage over dollar, it means that when you are being paid, you'll be paid less dollar, because when you convert that dollar to naira, because naira has gained advantage over dollar, the value of that naira will not make much sense to you. So if foreign currency appreciates, the exporter gains because they receive more naira for the same foreign amount. So to the investor perspective now, an investor investing abroad needs to convert home currency into foreign currency. If you want to invest outside, you need to get the value or the value of the currency in another country in which you want to invest in. And for you to do that, it means that domestic currency you have, there must be a conversion in relation to it. There must be a conversion in relation to that. Now, there are types of risk attached to these international trade. There are various forms of risk. We have the transaction risk, transaction risk, the transaction risk. This transaction risk occur. It occurs when exchange rates change between the time a contract is assigned and the time payment is made. Now, this is it. As at today, being 2nd of October, you've entered into a transaction with somebody in US. What is the exchange rate as at today? And you've locked the transaction based on today's exchange rate. Now, if there is a decline, there is a depreciation in relation to naira and dollar. If naira depreciates in relation to dollar, it means that on one hand, you might be at loss because if naira as of today is 1.5 to $1, and tomorrow naira increases, naira depreciates rather from 1.5 to 1.6. Yes, sorry about that. So, for example, let me present an example using this. For example, let's look at this example. That for example, let's say a Nigerian company, let's say a Nigerian company agrees to pay a US supplier to pay a US supplier, let's say $100,000 in 3 months. Trying to cite this example in relation to transaction risk in 3 months. Now the point is this: if the naira weakens, that is depreciate now. If the naira weakens during that period, so the company will need more naira. Will need more naira to buy what? To buy the same $100,000. So the point is, if a Nigerian company agrees to pay a US supplier 100,000 in 3 months, and before the payment date, naira depreciates, it means you need more naira to settle to buy dollars. It means that when you are to settle your supplier in that 3 month period, you will require more naira to offset your debts. So this is a case of transaction risk. So this is the risk that a transaction in foreign currency at one exchange rate is settled at another rate because the rate has changed. So it is the risk that the financial manager may attempt to manage. So there are ways you can manage this risk, in which, as we go on in our discussion on risk management, we'll see how to manage this risk in different ways, the internal measure, the external measures on how you can manage this risk. And also, another form of risk is a translation risk. Translation risk. This translation risk is also termed as what the accounting risk. For those doing FR, SBR, you in your group accounts, there is what we call there is foreign subsidiary. When you have foreign subsidiary, there will be a time whereby when you are consolidating, you need to convert the financial statement of your foreign subsidiary into the parent home currency. So the risk that occurs, the exchange loss, the exchange gain, that arise when you are doing that is known as what? Translation risk. Translation risk, especially when you are trying to look at the aspect of equity in the terms of pre-acquisition and post-acquisition. So translation risk affects multinational companies that must convert foreign subsidiaries' assets, liabilities, and profits into their home currency for reporting purpose. So, for example, now a UK company that that is that has a subsidiary, let's say in Nigeria, we see the value of naira earnings fluctuating when they are trying to report their financial statement in pounds. Yes. Now, for those of you doing FR and SBR, you would have seen that in questions that involve, let's say, acquisition of a foreign subsidiary, you'll be given certain exchange rates as that, the point of acquisition, and you have the exchange rate as at the closing. All right, sorry. Um, I'm still in the office. I have someone that's so translation risk, as I was saying, that this relates to the exchange profit or losses that result from converting foreign currencies balances for the purpose of preparing the account. So these are of less relevance to the financial manager because they are book entries as opposed to actual cash flows. Yes, they are just issues of book bookkeeping. Yes, when you try to convert based on the opening rates, the closing rates in relation to your financial statements, when you use the average rates for your P&L, you use the closing rates for your statement of financial position in such manner, the exchange difference that occurs is the translation risk. Translation risk. And also we have the economic risk. This can also be termed as operating risk. Operating risk, and it's it is a long-term effect of exchange rate changes on companies' market value and competitiveness. For example, if let's say the Japanese yen now strengthens, if the Japanese yen strengthens, Toyota cars might become more expensive abroad. That is reducing their competitiveness. So economic risk refers to the exchange in the present value of future cash flows due to unexpected movement in foreign exchange rates. And some of these issues that can cause this can be issue of political instability, issue of inflation can result into this economic risk, into economic risk. So in talking about this, there are various things we must know when we're trying to solve questions that relate to foreign exchange, to foreign exchange. There are things we must know when we're trying to solve questions that relate to foreign exchange. How do you determine the exchange rate? You must be very sound in that. How do you determine exchange rate? Now, there are two types of rates. Take notes. There are two types of rates. We have direct quotation, we have indirect quotation. Direct quotation and indirect quotation. Now, this direct quotation can otherwise be referred to as pence or naira rate. Pence or naira rate. Now, when we have direct quotation, this is where the price of one unit of foreign currency is being expressed in terms of equivalent amounts in home currency or local currency. So direct rates, let's see if we have it here. Direct rates. Direct rates. Okay. Don't have it. Let's write it. Exchange rate determination. Exchange rate determination. Now, there are two types of exchange rates. Two types of exchange or two types of rates. Two types of rates. We have direct quotation. If you check your study pack, you see it as direct quotation. It can otherwise be referred to as what? Pence. Pence or Naira rates. Pence or Naira rates. Pence or Naira rates. Now, when we talk about this direct quotation, said this is where the price of 1 unit of foreign currency. Take note of the word 1 unit of foreign currency first. 1 unit of foreign currency is being expressed, because when you are given a question, you must look, how is this exchange rate expressed? Is it based on direct quotation or indirect quotation? You must be able to ascertain that. This is where the price of 1 unit of foreign currency is being expressed in terms of what? Of equivalence, in terms of equivalent amounts in home or what? Or local currency. In home or local currency. So how do we look at this? For example, let's say $1. $1 is equal to let's say 119.5 kobo, 50 kobo. So this expression is a direct quotation. This expression is a direct quotation. So a direct quote or quotation expresses the price of 1 unit of foreign currency in terms of what? The home currency. In other words, I would say that how much of my local currency do I need to buy 1 unit of foreign currency? How much of my local currency do I need to buy 1 unit of what? Of foreign currency. For example, look, taking Nigeria as a case study now. Let's say if $1 is equal to what? Is equal to 1,600 naira. This is a direct quotation. This is a direct quotation in Nigeria. Now, what is the interpretation of this? What is the interpretation of this? It means to buy $1. To buy $1, what will happen? You need how much?
One
One
thousand six
six.
hundred.
One.
You need 1,600 naira. Now, when you want to convert $500 to naira, what will happen? That is, let's say, conversion, conversion of currency, conversion of currency using direct quotes, using direct quotes. So if you want to, let me put this example now that if you want to convert, if you want to convert $500 into naira, how will the expression be? How will you be able to do this? You want to convert.
You say $500 multiplied by 1/6.
Okay, 500 multiplied by 1/6.
This will give you 800,000 naira.
Wow. How do we come about that? Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Because a unit of dollar in naira is 1,600, and since we have 5,000 dollar, so we will have to multiply by a unit, which is 1,006.
All right, that is fine. So the point is this: in some way, those days, how they used to teach us in primary school. Let me just show this. You can just say $1 is equal to 1/6, right? 1,000. Yes, everybody is correct, but for those that might not be able to determine that speedily on their own, how do you determine that? Now, if $1 is equal to 1,600 naira, and you're asked to convert $500 into naira, what will happen? You have it as what? You have it in this way: $500 equal to what? Equal to this, equal to, yes, $500. Then you have a question mark. You can have question mark. So the point is, when you multiply $500 by 1/6, you have what? You do cross multiplication. If you like, you can make this x. You do cross multiplication. If you like, I make this x. You do cross multiplication. So it means 500 multiplied by 1/6, $1 by x. Do you understand? So you do the cross multiplication. When you divide both sides by 1, you will have what? You have 800,000 naira. 800,000 naira. So this is a case of direct quotation. Direct quotation. Direct quotation. So this direct quotation, I want to reiterate again that this is when the price of one unit of foreign currency is expressed in terms of what? Domestic currency. Domestic currency. So, for example, again, a direct quote between Nigerian naira and the US dollar can be expressed as what? Can be expressed as let's say $1 to 360. So, which means that 360 naira will be needed to buy $1. Yes, be needed to buy $1. Now, talking about indirect quotation. Indirect quotation. In Sorry about that. My network. We're talking about the indirect quotation. That this is this. When the price of 1 unit of domestic currency or 1 unit is expressed in terms of foreign currency. For example, now let's see this. For example, let's see an indirect quote. An indirect quote between Nigerian naira and the US dollar. And the US dollars can be expressed or will be expressed as, that is 1 naira equal to what? Naira equal to, let's say, 0.00837. So when you express your domestic currency in terms of a foreign currency, it is known as indirect quotation. So this indirect quotation is the reverse or the inverse of direct quotation. Can be expressed in this way. Indirect quotes can be expressed as what? 1 divided by what? By direct quotes. 1 divided by direct quotes. So please take note of this rule. There is this rule that you must know. With direct quotation, this is the rule. When there is a direct quotation, with direct quotation or pence or naira rate, the rule is the bank will buy at a low rate. The bank will buy at a low rate because you can be given 2 rates. So you look which is the lower rate. The bank will buy at a low rate and sell at higher rates. Yes. So with the pence rate, the rule guiding the market is for the bank to buy low and sell high. But with the indirect quotation, the rule is this. Indirect quotation or the currency rate, the rule is what? The rule is this. The bank will buy high. The bank will buy high and sell what? And sell low. So, in simple terms, 1 rate is the reciprocal of the other. One rate is the reciprocal of the other. Now, still talking about rates, there's what we call spot rates. Spot rates. Spot rates. Spot rates. When we talk about spot rates, this is the rate. I think I have it somewhere in my slide. Spot rates. So when we talk about spot rates, this is the rate of exchange. The rate of exchange for an immediate foreign currency transaction. That is the rate as at now that you want to transact in relation to the foreign currency. So spot rates, this is the rate of exchange quoted for an immediate foreign currency transaction, and the currency must be delivered to the buyer within 2 working days. Within 2 working days. And for example, let's look at this. I have that in the slide. I have that in the slide. I can't locate it now. Talking about the spot rates. The spot rates. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is spot rates, and these are some examples from my previous class in relation to that. So spot rate, that this is the rate of exchange quoted for an immediate foreign currency transaction, and the currency must be delivered between 2 working days, and the spot date is when currency is delivered. So now we have this example here. This example here, yes, that calculates how much a Nigerian exporter will collect from the bank if he has 150,000 pounds to sell. The spot rate of 1 naira to euro is 20. Okay, yes, to euro is 20. Yes, 20 pounds, 20 euro, 20 euro rather. So this is not pounds, no, 20 euro. So now, what will be the solution to this? The spot rate. The spot rate now that calculates how much a Nigerian exporter will collect from the bank if he has 150,000 euro to sell. Yes, it means that in this case, you export. When you export outside, you receive money in foreign currency. Now bringing it back home, you want to convert. What will be your conversion value? How much will you get? 7 what?
7,500.
7,500?
Yes, so I did this 150,000 euros divide by 20 euros to get that.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Yes. Yes. So once you do that, you get 750. 750, yes. And then, so now in this case, we are dealing with the currency rate. And to determine our value, we divide the euro with the exchange rate. Yes, so the naira equivalent of 150 will be what? 150 euro will be what? The naira equivalent will be what? When you follow that approach of cross multiply, you will see what will happen. That is 150, 1 naira equal to 20 euro. Then you place 150 under 20 euro, you cross multiply. You know, x is with 20. Divide both sides by 20. You have what? You have 7.5. I don't know if everybody is getting it. Are we getting it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
Now, looking at this example, calculate how much an importer will pay the bank if he requires $100,000. The spot rate is $1, 115 naira to 117 naira 50 kobo. Calculate how much an importer will pay the bank if he requires $100,000. What is the meaning of this? What is this question trying to test us on? As far as this question is concerned, it's trying to test your understanding on the concept of if the bank is to buy, if the bank is to sell, what will happen? Now, in relation to this, that calculates how much an importer will pay the bank if he requires $100,000. So now, what is happening here? Can somebody speak to this? What is happening here?
Okay, so from this one now, there is two rates, the lower rates and the higher rates. So using
Yes.
the direct method, if bank is buying, it will buy at lower rates. Then if it's selling, it will sell at a higher rate. So we said that the higher rate here is 117 naira or 50 kobo. So for him to get 100,000 USD, we have to do 117.50 multiplied by 100,000. Then that should give him, he'll be paying a total sum of 11,750,000 to the bank to collect 100,000 USD.
All right, that is fine. Is this your schedule in your workplace?
So
So is this your schedule in your workplace?
it's a kind of, it's part of one.
Okay, that is fine. Yes. Looking at this question, you see that $1 is in relation to 115 to 117.50. Now, before now, I put it clear that the rule is what? When it is with direct quotation, a direct quotation, the rule is what? That the bank will buy when it is low and sell when it is high. Now, in this case now, they need to sell. Somebody wants to buy. Yes. The importer will pay the bank if he requires 100. How much will the importer pay the bank if he requires 100,000? The importer needs this. The importer needs $100,000. So for the importer to get $100,000, the bank will have to sell. So how much? In naira, we so 17 naira 50 kobo multiplied by $100,000. Now, how do you do that? If you follow the same approach, that 1 naira is equal to 117.5 on 50 kobo, and you place $100 under one, then you do your cross multiplication. You discover that it will be 117 naira point 50 kobo or 50 kobo multiplied by 100, and you're going to get 11,750,000. I don't know if anybody have done that aside Madam Juliet.
I've done that and I got it, sir.
Yes.
All right, fine. So still on this, on issue of quotation, on the issue of quotation, there's what we call outright quotation and point quotation. Outright quotation and point quotation. And in this regard, there's what we call bid and offer. Bid and offer. Now, when we talk about outright quotation, what we are referring to is this. It is when all decimal points of a spot or forward rate of a bid or ask price is given. Now, when we talk about bid, the ask price, I think I have that in my notes likewise. Now, the offer rates, the bid rates, you must know what it entails. You must know what it entails. The offer and the bid rates. So the offer rate is the rate that the bank will sell, while the bid is the rate that the bank will buy. So we must note that. So talking about outright quotation is when all the decimal points of a spot and forward rates of bid or ask price is given. For example, I think I should have that also in this slide, but let me work with my slide. Let me just show you some examples. Talking about outright quotation now. Outright quotation. You can have this outright quotation. Present a table. You can have this. Let's say you can have the bid and you can have offer. Bid, offer. And in relation to this, you can have spot rates. You can have, let's say, 1 month forward rates. Let's use that as an example. 1 month forward rates. When we talk about 1 month forward rate, it means you've locked a transaction to the next 1 month. Yes. Let's say 1 month forward rates. That irrespective of the fluctuation in the market, this is a form of hedging, guiding against risk. We'll not talk about that. So bid, let's assume we have a bid price of 1.7, let's say 742 now. In this way, 7432, and the offer, let's say we have 1.7944, and the 1 month forward rate, let's say we have 1.7360, and in terms of offer, let's say we have 1.7858. Now, in this table, both the spots and the forward rate prices are given in 4 decimal places. You can see it. They are given in four decimal places. So in this case, when you see this, it shows that this is an outright quotation. The outright quotation is when all the decimal points of a spot rate and forward rate are given. So when you see this expression, this is what? An outright quotation, because we have the whole decimal point. Now, talking about point quotation. This point quotation is the difference between the spot and the forward outright rate. The difference between the spot and the forward outright rate. So if the forward outright price is greater than the spot rate, the difference is known as what? Premium. So the forward rate If the forward rate is greater than the spot rate, the difference will be termed as premium. Now, it means that the spot rates can be looked at in form of the par value. Now, anything higher than the par value, is premium. Anything lower than the par value, is issued at discount. So, if the forward average rate is greater than the spot rate, it means the difference is termed as premium. But if the forward outright rate or the forward outright rate, yes, is lower than the spot rate, it is known as what? Discount. It is termed as discount. Discount. So the point is this: when it is premium, when the forward rate is in premium, the currency is appreciating. But when it is in discount, the currency is what? Depreciating. The currency is depreciating. So when we have a premium, what do we do? We add premium to the spot rate. And when we have discounts, we less discount from the spot rate. That is when it is a direct quotation. But when it is an indirect quotation, the reverse is the case. The reverse is the case. We add discount and we less premium. But when it is a direct quotation, take note, these are ways examiners will. So we're going to look at an example soon. Ways examiners will try to test our understanding. So reading the literature part of this course, this topic is very important for you to be able to solve questions. If not, when you pick question, you'll be wondering what is happening. So you must understand the literature first before jumping into solving questions. If not, you will not like this topic, and that is it. So you must understand the literature. Once you understand the literature and you see a question, you can be able to reflect on those literatures and apply the knowledge in solving practical questions. So as you go ahead, you'll be seeing certain things. Yes, you'll be seeing certain questions, and you'll be imagining what is the meaning of this. So for you not to imagine too much, you must read and understand the literature of this topic so that you'll be able to solve questions as appropriate. So when a currency is appreciating, it means less of it will be required. When the currency is appreciating, for example, if Naira is appreciating now, if Naira is doing well compared to dollar, it means if you have dollar and you want to convert to Naira, you don't need much of Naira. It won't give you much. But now, because our Naira value is not that okay, when you bring little dollar to Nigeria, you collect big Naira. Yes. So when a currency is appreciating, if Naira begins to do well now, it means when you bring dollar in, you get less Naira because Naira is doing better. Naira is doing better. So in the case of indirect quotation, the premium is subtracted from the spot and the discount is added. The premium is what is added and the discount is what is deducted. So the point quotation should always be converted to exchange rate before adding or subtracting. So the point quotation can be converted to exchange rate. Let's see how we convert that. It's just a simple expression that is conversion. Conversion. The conversion of the point quotation. The conversion of the point quotation to exchange rates can be the quotation given, the point quotation given, point quotation divided by what? Divide by the value of the of the decimal value given to you. That is, if you have 4 decimal places, it means you count in relation to the decimal places given. Yes. And though the simple formula is point quotation divided by what? By 10,000. By 10,000. By 10,000. That is the formula. For example, let's look at this simple example in relation to this. Let's say example from the below table, or from the table below, from the table below, from the table below, let's say find the 1 month forward rate. Find the 1 month forward rate. 1 month forward rate. Table is this. Let's see. One month forward rates. One month forward rates. Let's say we have bid. Let's say we have bid and we have offer. The bid is what? The bid. When do you use bid?
Is the rate that the bank will buy foreign currency at a weaker rate
Yeah.
of that currency.
Then the offer
Is the rate that they will sell the foreign currency at a stronger of that currency.
forward rates, yes. Forward rates as premium. Let's say we have these now. The bid is 1.5433. The offer is 1.5443, and the 1 month forward rate is, let's say, 60, and the offer is what? Is 58. So the point is, what will be the 1 month forward rate? What will be the 1 month forward rate regarding this now? The 1 month forward rate. Looking at this question, the 1 month forward rate. Now, 60 and 58, they are what? They are point quotation. They are point quotation. Why are they point quotation? Why are they point quotation? Anybody? 60 and 50.
It is a round number. They don't have points. Something point something.
Fine, good. So 60 and 58, they are point quotation. And for you to use this, you need to convert them. You need to convert them to what? To exchange rates. You need to convert them to exchange rate. And how do you convert them to exchange rate? I gave a formula just now. Conversion. This 60 will be converted to decimal value. Yes, you convert them to decimal value. How do you convert? You use what? You use the expression I've shown. And for you to convert 60, that is the bid price, it will be what? It will be 60 divided by what? By 10,000. And when you do the conversion, you have it as what?
0.006.
0.006. And then for offer, the offer price, because it's in point quotation, convert it. This will be what? This will be 58 divide by what? By 10,000. And the result will be what? 0.0058.
58.
Yes. So now, based on the concept that you want to determination of 1 month forward rate. Now, the forward rate given in this question is at what? Is at what? Premium. See it. Premium. Premium. Is at premium. Is at premium. So, since we are working based on point quotation, and when we have premium, the rule will be what? In relation to point quotation. When you have premium, what will you do? In relation to point quotation. When you have premium, what we do is we less. Yes, when you have premium. In another way, take note so that when we pick another example, you don't get confused. In another way, when it is a direct quotation, an outright quotation, when it is an outright quotation, and where the value is given based on direct quotation, what you do is to add premium. But in this case, it is a point quotation. What we do is that we less the premium. We less the premium. Because I'm going to show another example aside this. So that what will be the 1 month forward rate? What will be the 1 month forward rate? The 1 month forward rate will be what? The 1 month forward rate will be
Hello, Mr. Tokwe.
guess what it is, sir?
Sorry, the 10,000 is do you assume for it?
No, it's constant in the
Oh,
yes, this is it.
okay.
So the spot rate. The spot rate. This is 1.5433. Offer. The offer is what? 1.5443. Now, based on this concept now, what are we to do in relation to the points? In relation to the point, what are we to do?
So this minus this.
Less this. So the 1 month forward rate will now be what?
1.5373.
1 month forward rate will be 1.5373. Now, for that is for B. For offer, it will be what? 0.0058. Now, the 1 month forward rate will be what?
1.5385.
1.5385. So it means that when it is time for you to settle your transaction, the rate you will use will now be what? Will now be this value, this rate here, this rate here. Now we are deducting. If you go to various literatures, you'll see it can be very dicey. Now, when it is a point value, and your expression is based on point quotation, that is points without decimal. You convert to points, and it is based on premium. You less that. Now you can have another example whereby you have your spot rate. You can have your spot rate, and the expression is based on direct quotation. What will happen? What will happen in that is that, I don't know if I have the example here. I don't know if I have the example here. Okay, yes, I think this is the example. That's Ola Limited, an importer. An importer customer must pay for a certain goods 10 days after delivery. The delivery of the good is expected on 20th March. The customer discussed with you on 1st February for the purchase of the required currency forward. Total cost of the good being imported is what? $20,000 required. What type of contract is this? Determine the rate of exchange and Naira equivalent. What will be the Naira equivalent if the 1st of February and 30th of March? You can read it again. That's Ola Limited, an importer customer must pay for a certain goods. How many of us took our time to watch the video I forwarded? There is another one I will forward. That one, it's I think it's from May 2024. I'll go and look for it. Okay, all right. I'll go and look for that video. Yes, it's a different dimension. I didn't teach it this way. Yes, so I talked about certain things. Yes, so I think once I get that video talking about how to hedge using netting, I saw a practical example using an ACCA question. Yes, on netting, hedging, and the rest in that class. So I'll look for the video. So now looking at this question, that's Ola Limited, an importer customer pays for a certain goods 10 days after delivery. The delivery of the good is expected on 20th March. The customer discussed with you on 1st February for the purchase of the required currency forward. Total cost of the good being imported is $20,000 required. What type of contract is this? This is the first thing. What type of contract is this? Yes, anybody to help?
It is a 1
That's
month
what type of
forward
contract? You said?
1 month forward contract.
1 month.
That's a
1
credit
month.
sale.
Okay, the credit sales, yes. Madam Juliet.
Yeah, so I was saying is a 1 month forward contract in terms of the payment date is supposed to happen on around 30th of March. That is 10 days after the delivery. Then he's informing him in February. So I think it's a 1 month forward contract.
Okay. The contract was entered into as at when? Yes. The contract was entered into as at when? We must know that. Yes. As at when did we engage ourselves in the contract? So the customer discussed with you on 1st of February for the purchase of the required currency forward. Yes. So as at 4th of February, we initiated this contract. Now, payments will be made when? The delivery of 20th of March. Now, the importer must pay for a certain goods 10 days afterwards delivery. So, as at 20th, you receive the good. 10 days after 20th will be what? Will be 30th of March. 30th of March. So from 1st of February to 30th of March will be how many months?
It'll be 1 month.
Okay, is it 1 month?
2 months.
2 months. Okay, 2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
It's 2 months. 2 months. So it's 2 months. The question is not, that is not even the end of the question. So we have this as part of the question, that the rate on 1st of February are as follows. These are the rates. The spot rate is $1. You can see to 115 naira to 117 naira. 1 month forward. 1 month forward is 0.50, 0.75 premium. 2 month forward is what? 0.80, 0.95 premium. 3 month forward. It means this 1 month forward, 2 month forward, 3 month forward, it means if the contract is within 1 month, if the payments will be between 2 months, if the payment will be within 3 months, these are the various obligations attached to it. So now that the rate on 1st of February as follows. Spots is this $1 to 115 in relation to 117 naira. 1 month forward will be what? 50 go to 75 premium. 2 month forward 0.80 to 0.95 premium. 3 month forward 0.55 to 0.65 discount. Now, based on this now, that what type of contract is this? This is it. Let's write solution. What type of contract is this? I'll say it is. They can ask you, because they know students sometimes might not be able to interpret that. It is a 2 month fixed forward contract. Fixed forward contract. It's a 2 month fixed forward contract. Why? Since the contract was entered into on what? On 1st of February. On 1st February, and payment will come up. Payments will come up on a specific date. On a specific date in the future. Specific date in the future. That is, what date is that? That is 30th March. 30th March. 30th March. So this is it for the first. Now the question is determine the rate of exchange and Naira equivalent. The rate of exchange and Naira equivalent. So what will be the rate of exchange? The rate of exchange. Since we've ascertained that is a 2 month forward contract, right? It means 2-month forward contracts. These are the associated rates. Yes. In relation to, these are premium in relation to the spot rate. Now, what will be the exchange rate? Now, this quotation here, this quotation, is it a direct quotation or an indirect quotation? This quotation here, is it a direct quotation or indirect quotation? That is $1 to 115 naira, $1 to 117 naira. Is it a direct quotation or indirect quotation?
Indirect.
I think
Direct,
it's a direct quotation.
direct quotation. Right.
Is a direct quotation. Is a direct quotation. We said direct quotation is what? It is where the price of one unit of foreign currency is being expressed in terms of what? Of equivalent amount in home currency. Is a direct quotation. Is a direct quotation. So the rule for direct quotation or for pence or naira rate is to add premium and deduct discount. While for the currency rate, the rule is to deduct premium and add discounts. And add discounts. Yes.
Strategy.
Okay. Are you trying to speak, ma? All right. So for these now, what will be the exchange rate? If the spot rate is okay, before determining the spot rate, how do we determine the spot rate? Looking at this question, let's go back to the question. How do you determine the spot rate? What is happening here? That Ola Limited, an importer customer, must pay for certain goods 10 days after delivery. The delivery of the good is expected 20th. The customer discussed with you on 1st February for the purchase of the required currency for the total cost of the good being imported is $20,000. Now, the point is this: you must be able to interpret. Ola need foreign currency, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Ola need foreign currency to settle this sum,
Supply.
$20,000. Now, looking at this, comparing this interpretation with this table now, spot rate is this. At what rate will the bank sell to Ola?
117.
117. You must be able to determine that. 117. 117. If Ola is the one selling, the bank will buy at 115. Now, this contract now is a 2-month contract. 2-month forward contract. The premium associated with this value is what? With 117 is what?
0.95.
0.95.
0.95. Now, since this expression here is a direct quotation, the rule under direct quotation is to add what? Premium. Is to add premium and deduct discount. So what will now be the rate of exchange? What will be the rate of exchange for these 2 months forward contracts? The rate of exchange will be what?
It will be 117.95.
117.95. Yes, that is very correct. So let's show it. Solution. So please, you must understand the literatures for you to, yes, to solve the questions. It's very important. Please, once you understand the literature, you will definitely find this very easy. So there are so many things under it, especially for SFM class. For SFM, you can't run away from this topic in the exams. That is very clear. And also for FM, I want to also say that there is no way you will run from this. Yes, because if you look at SFM questions, past questions, every year, you see these issues: forward contract, future options, and the rest of it. Though that of SFM is more intensive than this. Yes, what's the expectation in SFM? Because the concept is much more broader when you go to the study pack of SFM. But for FM, it's just like maybe is it 10 pages? Yes, which is a very small thing. But still, expect questions. Expect questions from these aspects of the syllabus. Expect questions from it. So for this, the solution is what? The rate of exchange. The rate of exchange. What is it? Yeah, eating the food of the spirit. The rate of exchange will be, person is still disturbing. The rate of exchange will be, the spot rate is what? Spot rate is what? Clearly given in the question.
It's 117.
117.
Yes, 117. Spot rate. I want to know who is giving us those
So you wrote change instead of exchange.
All right. So the rate of exchange, will be 117, and in this case, we have to add premium. Please understand this concept. As I've said, if you go to different literatures, you can get so confused about this. So you must understand direct quotation, indirect quotation, and when the question is putting it in the form of direct, what are you going to do? When it is indirect, what am I going to do? So this will be 0.95.
Hello, Mr. Papa.
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Sorry for interrupting. Sorry, before today's class, I've already tried to go through the pack. So the
Yes.
definition I see for direct quoting is this. This is the number of units of a domestic currency, while the indirect number of units of foreign currency to domestic. But now
Yeah.
you are now saying for the direct, you are now saying foreign currency to domestic currency. I'm a little bit confused about that.
The direct quotation. This is it. I've also gone through the study pack. I can see some misconception there. Yes, I went through the study pack before this class. Yesterday night, I went through it. So talking about the direct quotation again, talking about the direct quotation, I said the direct quotation is when the price of one foreign currency Yes, when the price of one foreign currency, you can go to the pack again and check, is expressed in terms of what? Domestic currency. Yes, that is the direct quotation. That is the direct quotation.
Okay, sorry. From here now is the number of unit of a domestic currency that will be exchanged for 1 unit of foreign currency. So I don't want to because I
And for the
Saying the same thing.
okay, so it is when
I can't hear anything now.
I think network has affected him.
Okay. I thought I was the only one. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir, I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm come back on my laptop. But still, I'm using my phone currently. Still trying to see how I can come back on my laptop. Yes, talking about the the issue of direct quotation and indirect quotation is a function of interpretation, even beyond the literature. Yes, when you go through the study pack, you can go and check the interpretation of direct quotation and indirect quotation is for direct quotation, a foreign currency expressed in relation to the domestic currency or local currency. It means how much of the foreign currency do you need to get, do you need in order for you to convert it to home currency? 1 unit of foreign currency in relation to the local currency. So it can be expressed likewise. How much of the local currency, 1 naira, $1 to naira. So in the case of indirect quotes, it often says is the reverse of direct quotation. Yes, if you go through the study pack, the way they've put it based on the statements, they've put it in the reverse way, but based on interpretation, we are saying same thing. Yes, based on interpretation of direct quotes, indirect quotes, we are saying same thing, but based on the literature, yes, and based on the arrays of literatures I have, yes, it is the unit of foreign currency expressed equivalent to home currency for direct quotation, and for indirect quotation, it is what? The price of 1 unit of home currency expressed in terms of the equivalent of the foreign currency. But when it comes to the interpretation, in my explanation, I said $1 in naira 50 kobo. Yes, if you go to the study pack, you're likely to see same. You even see same, whereby they can express $1 to naira or 119 naira 50 kobo to $1. It's direct quotation. The issue of indirect quotation now comes in expressing the foreign currency in terms of decimal. In terms of decimal, when you go to the study pack, you see that likewise. Where I said in my explanation, I said 1 naira is equal to $0.00837. Yes. So all we are saying is the same thing. It's a function of interpretation. Yes. And if you check most literature, I think I have like 5 literatures on textbooks on SFM. Yes, same line, same direction in which each of them have put it. Yes, and the ICANN pack has not also gone contrary. It's a function of English and literature. So I don't know. Who raised the observation? Are you still here, sir? Okay. Let me try to switch my network again. This so I'll be able to connect. So
Sir, we can hear you, but we can't see your screen.
yes, I'm using my phone. Yes. I discovered the waiting is becoming too much. So let me try and use my phone to connect. I can connect to
Okay. Okay.
okay, let me see. All right, so I think I should be back now. Okay, yes. Okay, we stop here, right? Right. I don't know if you can hear me now. All right. So at this point, the question is asking us to do what? That's determine the rate of exchange and the Naira equivalent. So the rate of exchange will be what? At this point, this will be 2 months, 2 months forward premium. 2 month forward premium. And this will be what? This will be
117.95.
so I would say this is the rate of exchange. Rate of exchange. And this will be 117.95. 95. So what will be the Naira equivalent of 20,000? This will be the rate of exchange.
2,359,000.
The Naira equivalent will be equal to what? That is $20,000 $20,000 multiplied by what?
117.95.
117.95. And these will give you what? And it's 2,359,000. Now, this will be the Naira equivalent on the question that determine the rate of exchange and the Naira equivalent. We see that what will be the Naira equivalent if the proceed of the transaction is expected within what? 1st of February and 30th of what? March. Within 1st of February and 30th of March. What are we going to do at this point? Now, this particular section is talking about option, as in option. Given that in the question, you have an option of 1 month forward, an option of 2 months forward, an option of what? An option of 3 months forward. Now, option 1, at the spot rate, what will happen? At the spot rate, if you have to pay at the spot, what will be the rate at the spot? The rate at the spot will be what?
It will be 117.
The Naira equivalent at spot rate will be what? It's very clear from the question.
340,000.
Now, yes, just the exchange rate now. At the spots now. Option one. Option one. Option one will be the spot rate. The spot rate will be what?
117.
Yes, 100. Just 117. From the question, it's very clear. This is it. If you have to pay on the spot, as at the spot dates, the spot rates, you are paying using this value, isn't it? Now, if you have to pay, the question is asking us that what will be the Naira equivalent if the proceed of the transaction is expected within 1st of February and 30th of March. Now, if you have to pay within 1 month, what will happen? What will be the value? You have to pay within 1 month. What will be the value? Option two. What will be the value?
1
Please, can you bring the other side? The question.
117.75.
No,
or
Okay,
0.
very good.
0.75.
Very good.
117.75.
It will be your spot rate.
0.75
To be your spot rate.
plus
Your
0.7.
spot, that is 117. Then you add what? Add your
You add
premium.
0.75.
Add your premium. And you're going to have it as what you mentioned as 0.75. And when you do that, the result will be what here? 117.75.
117.75.
Now, the third option will be what? The third option. Option 3.
To be at 2 months.
Yes, that is the spot rate
Plus premium of 2 months forward.
117. Add premium. Add premium. And the value will be what? This will be 0.95. So the overall result will be what?
117.9.
Here. 117.9.
.95.
Okay, 0.95. .95. So looking at this now, when you compare with what you have in B, the exchange rate at B is what? 117.95, right?
Yeah.
Now, the point is this. The highest rate of 117.95 and the Naira equivalent of that will be what? The Naira equivalent of 117.95 will be what? Will be what? 2359, which is same thing as what we have here, right? 2359 as what we arrived at in the previous one. Though this is not to mean that it must always be like that. It's just a coincidence that the rate of exchange for B and C are equal. So, as a person. The question is just trying to test our understanding that what will be the Naira equivalent if the proceeds of a transaction is expected within 1st of February and 30th of March. So all these rates will determine the Naira equivalent. These multiplied by 20 by $20,000. These multiplied by $20,000, 117 Naira multiplied by $20,000 will give us the Naira equivalent of $20,000 and the value of Naira. So that is what the question wants us to do in relation to these aspects. In relation to these aspects. So the point is this: when you have issues of foreign exchange transaction, what is the essence of this? As a financial manager, what is the essence of this? Is for you to see how you can guide against this fluctuation. And that is why we are having the issue of forward rate, even though we've not actually looked at that extensively. The issue of forward rate. And this issue of forward rate is a method of hedging, of guiding against these foreign exchange risk. It's a method of guiding against foreign exchange risk. Now, this method of guiding against foreign exchange risk, we can have them in two ways. In two ways, you can have the internal approach. You can have the external approach. Now, in terms of the internal approach of hedging techniques, you can have what we call invoice in the home currency. That is where you have organizations that have subsidiaries in various countries. It means once you are trying to sell your goods, you invoice in your domestic currency and not in the foreign currency. That is invoicing in the home currency. What do we mean by that? Invoicing in the home currency. Invoicing in the home currency. This is one method of avoiding exchange risk, in which a company or trader can insist that all invoices will be issued in their own domestic currency. So in this case, the risk will be shifted to the foreign counterpart, since it is just only one party that can eliminate this risk. So instead of invoicing in US dollar, that is, for example, a company in US wants to sell goods to us in Nigeria. For us to eliminate the issue of fluctuation in foreign exchange, it's better they issue goods to us in our own local currency, so that when we are paying, we know we are not having issues to do with conversion rate and the rest of this. So the risk will just be based on the country that is actually issuing out the goods. So it is only one party that will face this risk. Only one party that will face this risk. From the slide, I put that one way of avoiding exchange risks is for an exporter to invoice his foreign customer in his home currency, or for an importer to arrange with his supplier to be invoiced in his home currency. So me selling goods to you, I'm selling goods to you based on your own home currency. So the issue of trying to guide or hedge against foreign exchange fluctuation will not set in. That, however, although either the exporter or importer can avoid any exchange risk in this way, only one of them can deal in his home currency. So the other must accept the exchange risk. That although invoicing in the home currency has the advantage of eliminating exchange rate risks, the company is unlikely to compete well with a competitor who invoice in the buyer's home currency. So the customer may purchase from the competitor. So whereby you are not agreeing to my terms to issue in my home currency, I can decide to look for another competitor who will gladly issue invoice in my own home currency, because trying to help me to guide against risk, and that will be much more appreciated. That is an internal hedging technique. We have another one known as leading and lagging. Leading and lagging. When we talk about leading, leading involves what? Accelerating payment or receipt. Yes, accelerating payment or receipt. That is of a transaction where you anticipate exchange rate movement that will not be in your favor. What do? You quickly pay. You take advantage of that information you have. You quickly pay. For example, if an exporter expects that the currency it's due to receive will depreciate over the next few months, it may try to obtain payment immediately. If I know that Naira will depreciate in the next 2 months, I'll quickly ask for my payment. I'll quickly make sure that I get my money now. Now, to me that is buying from you, I can quickly take advantage of delaying payments so that the Naira will depreciate. I will just pay you less value. So this concept of leading and lagging is a mechanism whereby a company accelerates, that is leads or lags payment or receipt in anticipation of exchange rate movement. So this technique can be used only when exchange rate forecasts can be made with some degree of confidence. So interest rates will also have to be considered in granting this long-term credit. So lagging involves delaying payment when there is anticipated change in exchange rate. For example, if an importer anticipates that the currency it's due to pay will depreciate in value, it may attempt to delay payment. So one way of achieving this is to exceed credit terms or have an agreement with the supplier. So leading and lagging can be used only when exchange rate projection can be made with degree of confidence, as I've put in the slide. Also, we have the issue of netting. The issue of netting. This netting involves setting off the receipt and payment between subsidiaries. Now, if we have foreign subsidiaries and we trade with each other, we have intra-group transactions. Instead of me paying you, for example, company A is owing company B, and company B is also owing company A. Instead of we paying ourselves, what do? We use our debts to cancel out each other. Yes, we use our debts. If I'm to pay you 20,000 and you are owing me 20,000 or 18,000, we cancel out each other. So instead of we having to transfer money to each other, no, we do netting. We net our transaction off. So this involves setting off the receipt and payment between subsidiaries of a multinational company that is trading together in different foreign denominated currency. So these intra-group cash flows between the subsidiaries of a company will be netted out such that only the net amount is exposed to foreign exchange rates. So there are two forms of netting. We can have the issue of bilateral netting and multilateral netting. When we have bilateral netting, this involves only two companies in the same group. So where the difference between the higher and the lower amount is paid. So if company A is owing company B and company B is also owing company A, we net it off. Whatever be the difference is what we're going to pay off, instead of exposing a large proportion of our money to foreign exchange rates. Then multilateral netting. This is a type of netting whereby many companies in the same group liaise with the groups or with the group's treasury department or group's bankers to facilitate netting. So there will also be an arrangement between the parent and the subsidiary to see how we net off our transactions, the creditors against debtors, and see what the balance will be. So I believe, you know, in intergroup transactions, even in our normal FR and SBR, every intragroup transaction will always be eliminated in terms of intragroup um, stocks transferred, inventories, and the rest of them. We always do eliminate them, always eliminate them. So how do you calculate netting? I'll forward one of my video on that, in which I solve an example using netting, and we might also look at that again in this class, maybe by tomorrow or next. So throughout this weekend, discussing FM in relation to this topic. So the issue of using the internal approach to guide against transaction risks, that is hedging, we can have the use of the invoicing in home currency, leading and lagging. We can also have the issue of matching. Matching, this is similar to netting. So this matching now, this involves setting of receipts against payment of different transactions of the same currency. This is now same currency. Unlike netting now, netting, you know, involves different subsidiaries in different locations. So a company that expects to receive a sum of money from a customer and also intends to make some payment to a supplier in same currency and in same currency may want to set off receipt against payment. So they are similar to netting. But in the case of netting, what we do, you have different currencies. So you convert the currencies into same before trying to solve. So matching is possible by opening an account in the foreign currency of receipt and payments likewise. So by this, there will be the need to obtain currency in the foreign exchange market in terms of inflow and outflow. So in this case, the only currency exposure will be that of the conversion of the net account balance, such as we have in the nets, likewise in netting. But in matching, it's same currency. In netting, it's different currencies. Now, when you talk about we have the purchasing power parity theory, we have the interest rate parity theory, we have the international Fisher effect theory. But I don't think that is in the study pack for FM. For SFM, you have it, purchasing power parity theory, and we have the interest rate parity theory and the international
It's in
Fisher
there.
effect. Is there, right? The
Yes, sir.
international Fisher effect theory. So we'll pick up, there are various formulas for that, and still there is the issue of direct quotes and indirect quotes for purchasing power parity theory, and also for interest rate parity theory there is the issue of direct quotes and indirect quotes. It's just the inverse. The opposite of direct quotes is indirect quotes. We'll look at these formulas maybe by tomorrow, and we'll look at these formulas by tomorrow and see how we can bring more questions. So what I've just done is just to lay a background on this topic. There is more expectation from us as regarding this topic. So there is more we need to know as it regards this topic, and I'm going to forward some questions to the platform, some past questions to the platform as it relates to some of the things we've discussed. So because they can easily ask you theoretical questions. Like I have a question, is a past question, I can past question, that is Forex using interest rate parity. But still under that question, they are asking us some theoretical issue. Yes. So there are some literatures before these requirements. So question is asking us to describe two types of foreign exchange exposure, which I believe everybody in this class should be able to attempt that. Those exposures we talked about: transaction exposure, translation exposure. So those are the risks likewise. And there is another one again, testing your understanding, that is an icon question likewise, that you should explain what is meant by hedging. Yes. And identify and explain three internal hedging techniques. Yes, it's also in the past question of icon. And I'll forward some computational questions to us so that we can make attempts, and we'll see how we conclude on that aspect of the syllabus in a short while. So we'll meet tomorrow again, God's willing, to further our discussion on this. So for tonight, I'd like to wrap it up at this point. I'll forward the slide to the platform likewise. So in addition to the questions, I'll also forward. So some of the questions we're going to treat them during in the course of the class. Yes, and you can also do well to go through the study pack. Let me see what the study pack is saying. Yes, I can see bid and offer prices in relation to direct quotes in the study pack. I have some examples. Yeah, exchange rate and volatility, transaction risks, economic risks. We have some illustrations in the study pack regarding each of these. You can check to make attempts on those illustrations and see what they want you to know. So issue of forecasting, purchasing power parity, we'll start from there tomorrow. I can see the formulas already in the Pathfinder, in the study pack rather, using quotes are direct, when quotes are not direct, and the rest of it. So thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Kiss you.